Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Speak Easy English. I'm Ella, and with me as always is my awesome co-host, Max.
Hey. Glad to be here. And today's episode is a really important one, because we're talking about something that holds so many learners back, the idea that you need to be perfect to speak English well.
Yes. That perfectionism trap is real. So many people don't even try to speak, because they are scared of making mistakes. But here's the truth, you don't need to be perfect to communicate clearly, confidently, and effectively.
Exactly. Think about it, when you're learning any new skill, whether it's playing a guitar or learning to drive, you're gonna mess up in the beginning. It's part of the process. English is the same. You learn by doing, not by waiting until you're flawless.
Right? And honestly, even native speakers make mistakes all the time. We forget words, we mix up grammar, we say weird things and laugh about it. The goal of language is communication, not perfection.
And when you let go of the fear of being wrong, you actually improve faster. Because now you're participating in conversations, you're asking questions, you're using new vocabulary instead of just memorizing it.
Totally. I've talked to so many learners who've told me they only speak when they've rehearsed every sentence in their head, like a script. But real conversations are messy. They are unpredictable. And that's what makes them fun and real.
That's so true. And I think a lot of perfectionism comes from comparing yourself to others. You hear someone speaking fluently and think, I could never sound like that. But guess what? That person probably made a lot of mistakes before they reached that level. What you see is just the result, not the journey.
Exactly. And sometimes that fear of judgment stops us before we even start. But most people aren't judging you, they are actually impressed that you're learning a new language. They respect the effort. And often, they'll be patient and encouraging.
Yes. Plus, when you speak, even if you make mistakes, you're strengthening your brain's ability to think in English. You're building those neural connections, even when it feels clumsy. That's how you get better.
And honestly, some of the best, most authentic conversations happen when you're not overthinking. When you just speak naturally, like you're talking to a friend. Mistakes and all.
You know, I always say, confidence is louder than grammar. You could speak in perfect grammar but sound unsure, and it won't connect. But if you speak with confidence, even if your sentence isn't perfect, people will get you.
So true. And confidence comes from doing. From putting yourself out there, one small step at a time. Ordering food in English, joining a language exchange, even talking to yourself in the mirror.
Exactly. Every little bit counts. And remember, nobody becomes fluent overnight. It's a journey, and making mistakes is part of the path to fluency.
So if you've been waiting to speak until you feel ready or perfect, this is your sign, just go for it. Speak with what you've got. And trust me, you'll be surprised how much you can already do.
Yeah, like seriously, some of the most powerful moments in learning happen when you stop waiting and start using the language in real time. And honestly, there's no better practice than just doing it. You'll pick up speed, confidence, rhythm, all from real usage, not just studying.
And it doesn't have to be formal. Casual chats, texting in English, commenting on YouTube videos, or even making your own short videos can build that confidence like crazy. It's not about being polished. It's about being active.
Totally. Even talking to yourself can be a game changer. Narrate your day in English. Like, I'm making coffee right now. It's too hot. I need to wait. Simple stuff. But over time, it rewires your brain to think directly in English instead of translating.
I love that. And honestly, mistakes can even be funny. I've heard people say things like, I'm boring, when they mean I'm bored. It's cute, it's human, and most native speakers will either get it or gently correct you.
Right? I once said, I'm pregnant instead of, I'm embarrassed, when I was learning Spanish. I was so embarrassed, but now it's one of my favorite stories. It made people laugh, and I never forgot the correct word after that.
See? Mistakes aren't failures. They are moments you learn from. And the more you embrace them, the less pressure you'll feel. Language is about connecting, not performing.
Yeah, and that mindset shift makes a huge difference. Like, instead of thinking, what if I mess up, ask, what can I learn from this conversation? That switch turns fear into curiosity.
Ooh, I love that. Curiosity over perfection. That's a great motto. And the cool part is, when you keep showing up and speaking, you'll look back and realize how much progress you've made without even noticing it.
Exactly. One day, you'll catch yourself telling a story, laughing with someone, or giving directions in English, and it'll hit you, you're doing it. Not perfectly, but confidently. And that's what matters.
And you know what's kind of magical? The more you use English without obsessing over perfection, the more natural you sound. Like, even native speakers pause, stumble, or change their minds mid-sentence. That's just real communication.
Totally. I mean, listen to any conversation, podcast, or even interviews, people don't speak in perfect grammar. We use fillers like, and we backtrack all the time. And that's totally okay.
That's a big one, actually. Some learners beat themselves up over using filler words. But the truth is, native speakers use them constantly. It's part of sounding natural and conversational.
Exactly. And actually, learning those natural chunks, like, you know what I mean, or, at the end of the day, or, I'm not sure, but I think, those can make you sound fluent faster than just focusing on rules.
Yes. It's like learning to dance. You don't need to memorize every step, if you can just feel the rhythm and move with the music. Same with speaking, feel the rhythm, pick up those phrases, and use them even if you're not 100% sure.
Honestly, it's such a liberating mindset. You're not trying to win a spelling bee, you're trying to connect, express, and have fun with a language that opens doors.
And when you're having fun, your brain learns better. There's science behind that. Lower stress, more confidence, and better memory. So letting go of perfectionism actually helps you improve faster.
Yeah. I think if learners could just embrace the idea that mistakes are data, like feedback, not failure, it would totally change the way they approach conversations.
And the cool thing is, once you make peace with not being perfect, everything gets easier. Starting conversations, joining group chats, even asking questions in class, it all becomes less scary.
And more exciting, too. Because now you're focused on growth, not judgment. And honestly, people are way more supportive than we think. Most native speakers admire people who are learning and using their language.
Right? Like, I've literally had friends tell me they love it when someone tries to speak English with an accent, or makes small mistakes. It shows bravery, effort, and personality. That's way more memorable than someone trying to sound like a textbook.
Oh, for sure. And sometimes, those so-called mistakes lead to the most interesting conversations. Like when someone uses a word in a funny way, it sparks a laugh and then a learning moment. It's how real connection happens.
Totally. It also helps you remember that learning a language isn't just about grammar, it's about people. Emotions. Stories. Sharing thoughts. So if you're stuck trying to be perfect, you're missing the heart of communication.
Exactly. That's why it's more powerful to focus on progress over perfection. Even if you're at a beginner or intermediate level, you can still hold great conversations, tell interesting stories, and be yourself in English.
And honestly, I think confidence grows when you let go of that pressure. You show up, speak up, and you start to notice, hey, I'm doing it. I'm actually communicating. And that feeling. That's way more important than any grammar rule.
Yeah, because fluency is really just the ability to keep going, even when things aren't perfect. It's not about knowing every word, it's about staying in the conversation.
And it builds over time. Each chat, each new phrase, even each small correction, it all adds up. You're not starting from zero every day. You're adding bricks to your language house.
That's a nice image, the language house. You don't need fancy paint or decorations at the start. Just build the walls with simple words, and the rest will come as you keep going.
Exactly. And it's funny. Sometimes the people who speak the most fluently aren't the ones with the biggest vocabulary, or the most perfect grammar. They're just the ones who aren't afraid to talk, to make mistakes, to laugh it off and keep going.
Yeah, and that mindset shift makes such a difference. When you stop aiming for perfection and start aiming for connection, everything becomes easier. You actually enjoy the process instead of feeling stressed all the time.
And honestly, that's how native speakers talk too. We make mistakes, we pause, we use filler words like, like, it's not perfect, it's human. So why should English learners expect themselves to be perfect?
Exactly. Plus, when you make small mistakes, people don't judge you, they admire you. You're learning a second language. That's impressive in itself. No one expects perfection. They expect honesty, effort, and clarity.
And the cool part is, the more you practice with that relaxed mindset, the faster you improve. You're not freezing up thinking, did I say that right? You're flowing with the conversation. You're learning naturally.
Like learning to ride a bike. You fall, you wobble, but you keep pedaling. Eventually you get your balance. And before you know it, you're cruising down the street like it's second nature.
I love that analogy. So to anyone listening, don't wait until you're ready or perfect to speak. You're already ready the moment you decide to try. English is a skill, not a test. You grow through using it.
Right, and honestly, the conversations where you mess up a little are the ones you remember most, because they teach you something. You learn a new word, a better way to say something, or you realize, hey, that wasn't so bad after all.
Yes. And the funny thing is, sometimes those little mistakes turn into bonding moments. The person you're talking to might help you, or even share how they learned English too. It becomes this shared human experience, not a grammar test.
And let's not forget, fluency doesn't mean fancy vocabulary. It means being able to express your thoughts smoothly, even if they are simple. Saying, I feel tired today, is just as valid as saying, I'm experiencing fatigue. Clarity over complexity.
That's such a good point. So many learners think they have to use long, academic words to sound fluent. But actually, native speakers usually keep it simple. It's more natural, more relatable, and easier to understand.
Exactly. And if you do want to get fancy later, that's great too. But it should come naturally, not from pressure or fear. First, build your foundation by speaking freely and confidently with the words you already know.
And don't be afraid to use body language, facial expressions, even sound effects, anything to communicate your message. Language is more than just words, right?
Totally. Some of the best conversations I've had with learners involved hand gestures, drawings, and laughter. It's communication in its purest form. And you walk away feeling proud, not embarrassed.
I love that, communication in its purest form. That's what language learning is really about. It's not a performance, it's not about impressing people. It's about connecting. If you can share your thoughts, feelings, and ideas with someone, even in simple words, that's already a win.
And here's something else, people appreciate your effort. When you try to speak in English, native speakers usually don't expect perfection. They admire your courage and effort. They want to understand you, and they're often happy to help if you get stuck.
Yes, and that mindset shift is so powerful. Instead of thinking, what if I make a mistake? Try thinking, what if I connect with someone today? That shift takes the pressure off and makes speaking English feel more exciting than scary.
Exactly. It's okay to pause, to ask for a word, to say, "How do you say that in English?" That's still communication. That's still speaking English. Every attempt you make builds your fluency, even the imperfect ones.
And those little moments of progress, like being able to order your food, give directions, or explain your favorite movie, they add up. Day by day, word by word, you become more confident. And the best part? You're doing it your way.
No need to compare yourself to others. Everyone's path is different. You might struggle with pronunciation, while someone else finds grammar hard. That's normal. Just focus on your growth. Celebrate your milestones, no matter how small.
And trust the process. You're not just learning a language, you're building a skill that opens doors, friendships, careers, and a deeper understanding of the world.
Absolutely. And it's not always about big steps. Sometimes, progress looks like finally understanding a joke in English or having a spontaneous chat with someone at a cafe. Those are the real wins, even if you don't use perfect grammar.
Right? Like when you're gaming online and you manage to coordinate with your team in English. Or when you explain your hobby to someone who doesn't speak your native language. That's active, natural use of English, and it's powerful.
And don't forget how much learning happens when you listen too. Just by watching shows, listening to podcasts, or chatting with friends online, you're absorbing rhythm, vocabulary, and how real conversations flow. That's a huge part of becoming fluent.
Exactly. You're training your ear and your instincts. You start to feel when something sounds right, even before you know why. That's when fluency starts to kick in, not because you memorized every rule, but because you've lived the language.
And the more you let go of perfectionism, the more fun it becomes. You laugh at your mistakes, you learn from them, and you keep going. That freedom is what helps you speak more, try more, and ultimately grow faster.
It's also a beautiful reminder that being human means being imperfect. And that's okay. If your message gets across, if someone understands you, then your English is working, even if it's not perfect.
So, speak up. Be bold. Let your English be messy, colorful, emotional, real. That's how you build confidence. That's how you become a real communicator.
And remember, every native speaker once struggled to speak as a baby, and every learner fumbles a bit. It's part of the process. Fluency isn't about flawlessness, it's about connection, courage, and consistency.
So, if you're waiting for the moment you speak English perfectly, stop waiting. That moment isn't the goal. The goal is to use your English to connect, express yourself, and experience life more fully.
Exactly. Let go of fear. Let go of the pressure to sound like a textbook. Just start speaking. Start sharing. Start living in English, mistakes, laughter, and awe.
That's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining us, and we hope this gave you the push you need to speak up and enjoy the journey.
You've got this. See you in the next one. And until then, keep practicing, keep smiling, and don't forget, you don't need to be perfect to be powerful in English. Bye for now.